just have one question. Do I have any freedom fighters in the house? Yeah. What about my social justice advocates? Any truth tellers in the house? Any liberation lobbyists in the house? Any drum majors for justice in the house? Yeah. As was introduced, my name is Lavon Bracy Davis. And it is my honor, my privilege, and my pleasure to be the House sponsor of the Florida Voting Rights Act. I stayed up all night, anxious and excited about this very moment. And let me tell you why. Because I have learned the definition of a bully is a person who habitually seeks to harm or intimidate those they perceive as vulnerable. I remember a bully in elementary school years ago who every day he picked on this quiet, shy, scrawny little kid named Johnny. The bully would harass him, take his lunch, push him around, intimidate him, tease him, talk about his mama, make fun of him, until one day, this big bad bully was looking for little Johnny on the playground. And little Johnny wasn't there. But you know who was there to have a little chat with the bully? Little Johnny's big brothers, Johnny's cousins. Johnny's kinfolk showed up and said, "I've heard you've been messing with a family member of mine." What bullies don't realize is that family shows up. Family sticks together. So I come to serve notice today on all the Tallahassee bullies. Backup is here. Backup is here. Because when a member of your family calls on you to tell you that they are in trouble, family shows up and family shows out. And today, y'all, our family, voting rights family, are in trouble. Our right to equal access to the ballot box is in trouble. The votes of our black and brown brothers and sisters who are trying to let their vote be their voice are in trouble. Our returning citizens and formerly incarcerated are being intimidated by this newly formed elections police force. And they are telling us, family, that they are in trouble. But just like with little Johnny's big brothers, your presence here today lets everyone know that in the building behind me, they need to beware of backup. My fellow warriors of justice, today we stand united, unyielding in our resolve to honor the indomitable legacy of Harry T. and Harriet B. Moore. We refuse to be silenced or deterred by the barriers erected to mute our voices. We are sick of bad bill after bad bill filed to suppress our vote. So today, we decided to go on offense. Myself, Senator Geraldine Thompson, Equal Ground, the Legal Defense Fund, Florida Rising, All Voting is Local Action Fund, SPLC, the NAACP, ACLU of Florida, the legislators gathered here today, members of the Democratic House Caucus and 100% of the Democratic Senate Caucus have signed on as co-sponsors of this bill. We've decided that enough is enough, and we're here to battle bullies. Have no fear, because backup is here. We will not retreat. We will advance with the might of 1,000 storms, advocating for Florida's Voting Rights Act. We've decided it's past time to chip away at the walls of injustice, dismantling every obstacle that dares to stand in our way. It's time to hold lawmakers accountable. Call them out. Apply the pressure and demand answers. Why deny our community the fundamental right to vote? Why silence their voices that demand to be heard? Why build a wall of division and separation? Why don't you want Florida to be a voter-friendly state? Why hasn't our bill been agendaed? intimidation or suppression tactics that we will have the power to reshape the present landscape and the future of Florida? Because we know when we vote, we win. When we vote, we win. This legislation is not just a bill. It is a tribute to two extraordinary individuals who sacrificed their lives for the cause of equal voting rights. Harry T. and Harriet B. Moore were more than civil rights activists. They were pioneers who believed in the power of the vote. In 1951, as Senator Thompson so beautifully stated, the KKK cut short their lives, but not their legacy. When they died, Florida boasted to have the most black registered voters in any other state in the Deep South. They became the shield and the sword in the battle for voting rights. They were killed because they believed and understood the power of what happens when we all vote. Despite poll taxes, literacy tests, violence, and intimidation, they still believe. I don't know about you, but I feel that we are living in the post-antebellum South all over again. We're living in a time where the ashes of racism are finding its heat. That the Florida over and over and over again has passed discriminatory voting access bills targeting voters of color disproportionately. I recognize that there are fortresses of oppression and discrimination that some people have worked so hard to build. There are monuments and facades of fraudulence erected to keep people out. But I am also reminded of a story I read long ago. It was about a city enclosed by towering walls seemingly impenetrable. A people who were fortified, convinced that their barriers were insurmountable. Yet a young man named Joshua took his people on a walk not fueled by weapons or violence, but by unity, determination, and a belief in something greater. As I think about those walls, I am reminded that the challenges we face can be daunting as the walls of Jericho. Discrimination, systemic oppression, these are formidable barriers that stand before us. But let us not forget what happened to those walls in Joshua's story. On that fateful day, as the people marched, the walls came down. Not because of the brute force, but because of the collective will, a shared vision, and an unyielding spirit to dismantle injustice. The story of Jericho teaches us that even the mightiest of walls can crumble. Even the mightiest of walls can come down when faced with a united front and an unwavering determination to bring about change. Friends, we need to adopt a Joshua mentality. Let us continue to march to dismantle discrimination and tear down the towers of terror that loom over our communities. Our march may not be physical, but it must be one of resilience, persistence, and unyielding courage. Just as the walls of Jericho fell, so too can the walls of discrimination and injustice. Our collective march can echo through the corridors of history and the corridors of the Florida State Capitol. Let us march forward with the spirit of Joshua, dismantling injustice brick by brick, until the walls of discrimination, voter suppression, and the restrictive, harmful, and deliberate anti-voter laws come tumbling down.